Guys, big breaking news coming out. Very important update when it comes to nation against nation and kingdom against kingdom. NATO scrambles warplanes after Putin's latest move as World War III tension rise. I just posted a video not too long ago about Ukraine getting hit. They got hit really hard by Russia. 700 plus missiles and drones hit multiple cities. Emergency has been declared. The grid were hit, and it seems like a lot of people are without power. So we have this updates here, though. It seems like NATO, they got involved. They got involved in, seems like some of their warplanes were in the sky when a lot of this stuff was going on. All right, guys, before I start, for those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. Guys, I mentioned this in my last video. I don't know if you received the notification, but just kind of remind everyone that we have two good friends, married coupled. One of them, again, a husband lost. Well, he was laid off, and right now they're going through difficult times. If you can, please pray for them. And they live in Maine, and it's, nowadays it's really tough to find a job, especially up there in Maine. Now he was in an accident, but again he recovered really quick, and right now he's looking for a job. But at the same time, they're really struggling. So if you guys, if the Lord speaks to you, we do have the Cash App link if you guys want to help. $2 or $3, whatever it takes. $5. We try to make it to the goal at least 200, so that way they could get a little food shopping or something. But again, I want to thank every single one of you for that support. I really appreciate it. We do have the Cash App and the PayPal in the comments box. So again, please pray for the husband, so that way he could find a job quick as possible. And it's really hard nowadays because it's the holiday season, so a lot of people are working. All right, so thank you again for that. I really appreciate it, guys. And again, please send prayers. It says here, NATO nations scramble fighter jets as Vladimir Putin savaged Ukraine with one of the war's most brutal missile and drone strike. All right, so we did talk about this, but this is an update, very important updates. Russian forces unleashed 51 missiles and 653 drones overnight into Saturday, even as Washington insisted constructive discussions have been held in peace talks. Give me a second here, guys. Now, the strike landed just hours after the U.S. revealed Trump aides Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner had posted Ukrainian officials in Florida for talks on a potential peace deal. So right now they're in Florida, right? So they're in Miami. They're trying to work things out. They're trying to get this peace deal done as soon as possible. Now, the reason why they're dropping the hammer, the reason why Russia is dropping the hammer, I guess they're trying to pressure Ukraine to end this war immediately. It came amid a flurry of Western diplomatic activity, with Starmer, the Prime Minister of the UK, Starmer, due to meet Zelensky along with the French and German leaders in Downing Street on Monday as discussions on ending the war continue. The Prime Minister, Starmer, will use the meeting with Mr. Zelensky, French President Emmanuel Macron, and German Chancellor Frederick to underline the UK's support for Ukraine. All right, so this is going to hurt that peace deal. This is just gonna hurt it. This meeting here is going to finish off whatever Donald had planned. All right, these are the Europeans, NATO, and they're gonna offer Zelensky, hey, don't listen to Donald. That baloney thing, it's not gonna work. We're gonna back you up. We're gonna give you a lot of stuff. We already talked to the King Charles II. I think that's his name. So he's willing to give money, and we're gonna back you up. So I do believe that the peace deal that Donald's working on is gonna be crushed by these people here. You got Emmanuel Macron, German Chancellor Frederick, and also Starmer, Prime Minister of the UK. So they will also discuss ongoing talks between the US and Ukrainian officials aimed at finding an agreement on guaranteeing Ukraine post-war security. Excuse me. Ukrainian forces has taken down and neutralized 585 drones and 30 missiles, the Air Force said, adding that 29 locations were struck. Electricity outages and heating cuts hit Ukraine early today, and a savage strike on civilian infrastructure as temperatures sank below zero. That is brutal. That is absolute brutal. Now, I did post the video. If you guys want to check it out, the links will be in the description box. Whoops, I'm not supposed to show a lot of these pictures. The platform is really strict. I try not to get hit, guys. Every time I get hit, they just put me in timeout. I mean, they won't recommend my videos like that. A large thermal power plant in Kyiv, right? Zelensky birthplace suffered a direct hit with homes also damaged. So that's something new. That's a very important update. Zelensky birthplace, that region got hit. In Kyiv region, the Bila power plant was struck. The railway station in Fastev was gutted. And Vinshwahwad suffered critical damage. Man, they're getting hit left and right. These were among multiple key facilities hit on a night and early morning from hell across Ukraine, involving hundreds of drones as well as hypersonic missiles. Railways and military airfields were also targeted in strikes intended to force Ukrainians to buckle to Putin and accept a detrimental peace deal. Now, damage to the essential supplies was recorded in Luhansk, Poltava, Rivne, and Chernihiv region. Hits were also sustained in Sumy, Cherkasy, Vinnytsia, and Odessa region. So the scale of the Blitzkrieg involving Tu-95MS and Tu-160MS strategic bomber aircraft forced NATO state Poland to scramble warplanes amid fears the ballistic and cruise missiles could threaten alliance territory. Now, due to the activity of long-range Russian air forces carrying out airstrikes on Ukrainian territory, military aviation has begun operating in Polish airspace, said a statement. There's a picture of people sleeping in a subway, and they use that's like their bunker. And stuff like that has been going on for almost 4 years. Those people must be tired of going to the subway 2 o'clock in the morning, because that's what happens. I think it happens around 2 in the morning, 1 in the morning. That's when the Russians, they start launching their missiles, and people wake up, and a lot of people some of them stay home, a lot of them go to the subway. It says here the operational command of the Polish armed forces has activated the necessary forces and resources at its disposal. Fighter aircraft have been scrambled, and ground-based air defense and radar reconnaissance system have reached a state of readiness. These actions are preventative in nature and aimed at securing and protecting airspace, especially in areas adjacent to threatened areas. A young one. Wow. Okay, so this is something new. This is an update. A young one has passed away. My condolences and prayers goes out to the families and friends that lost a loved one. A young one has passed away in Dnipro from the Russian strike, the latest young one to be taken out by the Kremlin armed forces in a war that has lasted for almost 4 years. Now, in Kyiv, residents took shelter in underground metro stations. Now that's the one I just mentioned, the subway. Hmm. My condolences and prayers. So it says here Ukraine staged overnight strikes on a key oil refinery, aiming to harm Putin's oil supply but not hurt innocents. Now you have the refinery, one of the companies here, one of the largest in Russia, and critical to capital city Moscow, was in flames. Wow, there's a possibility that's the reason why Russia has responded. It says here it was the ninth time Ukrainian drones has struck the refinery this year. Ukraine fears that the U.S. could withdraw from the peace process if Putin refuses to settle. The country's military commander-in-chief admitted this was a problem, but vowed his country will fight on against the Russian aggressor. We hope that they will continue to provide full support. Wow. Here's the thing, guys, is that it's crazy because a lot of people, the New York Post put out their breaking news that most Americans are in favor U.S. sending weapons to Ukraine. I mean, it's like 69%. That's almost the entire population. That's crazy because when Trump was running for president last year, he said that he wants to end the war, and that's why people went for him. But now it just everything shifted in 1 year. Now people want weapons to be sent. It says here, but we also hoped that our European partners and allies, if necessary, will be ready to provide everything necessary for our just war against the aggressor. At least 8 people were impacted in the strike, Ukrainian Minister of Internal Affairs said. Drone sightings were reported as far west as Ukraine Lviv region. The bear carried out a massive missile drone strike on power stations and other energy infrastructures in several Ukrainian regions. Now, Ukraine National Energy Operator Ukrenergo wrote on Telegram. Ukrainian leader Zelensky said that energy facilities were the main target of this strike operation, also noting that a drone strike had burned down the train station in the city of Fastiv, located in the capital region, Kiev. So you have the Yazan regional gov, Pavel, said a residential building had been damaged in a drone strike and that drone debris had fallen on the grounds of an industrial facility, but did not mention the refinery. Now, months of Ukrainian long-range drone strike on Russian refineries have aimed to deprive Moscow of the oil export revenue it needs to pursue the war. So you guys already know. When it comes to oil, that's the big one. Oil is what keeps this war operating. Oil is money. Oil is power. All right, so we are definitely seeing that. That's why Ukraine is hitting Russian oil facility to kind of stop the war, but it's not working. Meanwhile, Kiev and its Western allies say Russia is trying to cripple the Ukrainian power grid and deny civilians access to heat, light, and running waters for a 4th consecutive winter. Following Friday's talk, the two sides also offered the sober assessment that any real progress towards any agreement ultimately will depend on Russia's readiness to show serious commitment to long-term peace. The statement from U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Donald's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, as well as Ukrainian negotiator Rustem and Andrei, came after they met for a second day in Florida on Friday. They offered only broad brushstrokes about the progress they say has been made as the U.S. president pushes Kiev and Moscow to agree to a U.S.-mediated proposal to end nearly 4 years of war. Wow. So what are your thoughts here, guys? Leave comments down below. But like I said, I would keep it updated with all these war news that's going on. This is a very important update here. You have NATO. You have NATO out there putting out the information, and supposedly there was a. Give me a second here. Let me just pull this information up really quick. So NATO scrambles fighters as Putin savages Ukraine with one of the harshest missile strike and drone operation of the war, while U.S. claims constructive discussion and peace talk. Russia's brutal strike, and it was the big one. It was a big one. All right. So once again, I will keep it updated with all these war news. This is a very important update. One has passed away, and it was a young one. And I will keep it updated with all these war news. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, and share. Till next time later. Peace.